AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We broke down some of the oral arguments in the 303 creative case before the Supreme Court the other day, particularly some of the efforts by KBJ, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Sonia Sotomayor, to conflate status with speech. Just to reset, one of the more silly efforts that was made by KBJ was this using of a photo shoot for It's a Wonderful Life as a metaphor for the issue of the graphic artist in the case not wanting to design websites that promote marriage redefinition. Take a listen.
Exact same analysis to say, is the parade organizers otherwise...
But Hurley was a private association. It wasn't a public business. What I'm asking you is, I have a public business. I'm a photographer. My belief is that, I'm doing It's a Wonderful Life scenes. That's what I'm offering. Okay? I want to do video depictions of It's a Wonderful Life. And I'm knowing that movie very well. I want to be authentic, and so only white children and families can be customers for that particular product. Everybody else can, I'll give to everybody else, I'll sell them anything they want, just not the It's a Wonderful Life depictions. I'm expressing something, right, for your purposes, that's speech. What about, what's the other step? It's speech, and I can say anti-discrimination laws can't make me sell the It's a Wonderful Life package to non-white individuals.
In the same way, I would say, first of all, in the same way that this court, when there is a message and a status and it's overlapping, the court would say that message wins in that instance. So I don't think that
don't have to sell it to it.
I don't think that message is in that.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by the plaintiff in the case, Lorie Smith, 303 Creative, and her attorney, Kellie Fiedorek. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Lorie and Kellie, please, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Kellie, why don't we start with you? Because I just want to pick up on the response that Kristen Wagner was offering to KBJ's hypotheticals, and I thought she did a really good job. But you're the lawyer with Alliance for Defending Freedom. You break it down for us, I'm sure, better than I can. So develop that distinction that Kristen was making between status and speech.
Well, certainly, and I think that the most important point here is that the government should never be able to force anyone's speech and tell them what they must say or what they must believe. Rejecting an entire class of people, that is both illegal and deplorable. And a win for Lorie would never permit that kind of conduct. So we've heard some misinformation regarding this case, but the truth about the case is that this case is about custom expression. Lorie serves everyone regardless of who they are. She creates specific messages that express unique meanings through that art, and the messages that she declines for everyone. So really at the heart of this case is the freedom of speech, and there's a clear distinction between speech, custom expression, something that the First Amendment protects, the government can't compel, versus, conduct, something based on someone's status, rejecting an entire class of people, failing to ensure that they receive access to essential goods and services, which is not what this case is about.
Isn't this just Masterpiece Cake Shop, Jack Phillips Redux? I don't understand why we're back here given the Supreme Court's decision in that case. It was the same thing. I'm happy to serve gay people I'm happy to serve people of different faiths and the whole thing. What I'm not happy to do, Jack Phillips, is be forced to participate in a wedding ceremony that runs against my beliefs. So I don't want to make a wedding cake for a same-sex wedding ceremony, but I'm happy to serve same-sex couples in any other way that is not violative of my beliefs. Don't we have the same thing here?
Well, certainly the same thing is Colorado's law. Colorado is going after Jack, going after Lorie, trying to censor and compel their speech. So that is the same. The victory we had in Masterpiece Cake Shop was based on free exercise. The Supreme Court said that Colorado had treated Jack's religious beliefs with hostility. That was impermissible. And so that case was ruled on based on free exercise grounds. They never reached the free speech issue. In Lorie's case, the court took up the free speech issue. So that's sort of the difference that we have here. Here they're looking at, can the government force artists, regardless of your beliefs, whether you agree with Lorie or have different beliefs, can the government dictate to us as Americans what we can and can't say? And the answer is clearly no. And we were very encouraged coming out of argument that the majority of the justices recognize that that would be an egregious invasion of Americans' civil rights and their ability to speak freely.
Lorie, how have you been handling all of this and knowing that your rights are under attack?
Well, it certainly has been a 6-year roller coaster, and I was also encouraged by what we heard on Monday, and I'm hopeful that the Supreme Court stands to protect not just my rights, but everyone's rights to speak and create custom artwork that's consistent with what they believe. You know, I work with people from all different walks of life. I always have. I have clients who identify as LGBT, but I simply cannot promote every message that's requested of me. Free speech is for everyone, and that protects not just me, but the LGBT web designer as well, and nobody should be forced to celebrate messages that violate their beliefs.
Right. I mean, this is one of the arguments would be what would the Colorado commissars say in the case of an atheist who doesn't want to be compelled to stay in your profession to design a website for a Catholic church or a Christian organization? Would they treat that atheist in the same way that they're treating you, Lorie Smith? And I think the answer clearly is no. This is just straight up political ideology at play here.
Well, we even saw that during argument on Monday, where Colorado acknowledged that they would allow some people to speak consistent with their beliefs. It seemed like they were really very much targeting Lorie. And I think when Justice Gorsuch talked about, so it's not about the who, it's about the what, he really understood so well what this case is about, because as Lorie just mentioned, it's never, her decisions based on what to create are never based on the person requesting. It's always about the message that person is asking her to help create and celebrate.
Mm-hmm. And so, Lorie, is this a situation, like, how did this all start 6 years ago? Is this a situation where somebody made a complaint, like sort of what they did with Jack Phillips, where it's like he was known to be like a man of faith, a Christian faith, and you had gay rights organizations or individual activists really target him to try and jackpot him? Is that what happened in your case as well, do you think?
Well, I have had requests to create custom artwork for same-sex weddings. And what's very clear is that if I create custom, unique, one-of-a-kind websites and graphics and expression that's consistent with my faith, that the state of Colorado will come after me and punish me in a way that they've done with Jack, and we've seen that. So deeply concerned that the state feels they're within the power to censor and compel my speech. So I took a stand to protect not only my First Amendment rights, but everyone's First Amendment rights. Everyone should be free to control the content of their own speech.
Right,
whether your views on marriage are similar.
Right, but how did you get on the state's radar in the first place?
Well, my case, and Kellie could speak to this as well, but my case is a pre-enforcement challenge, which means I don't have to sit around and wait to be punished before I raise the concerns of the injustice in Colorado. I don't want to wait to be punished like they've done with Jack Phillips. The right to speak freely is guaranteed to each of us. You know, when I became an artist, I didn't surrender my First Amendment right to speak freely. So I'm hopeful that the court will do the right thing and protect everyone's right to do just that.
Yeah, I see. No, that okay. That makes sense. And this is important. Just to reiterate, Kelly, what you were saying before is, we talked about this actually when the court handed down their decision in the Jack Phillips case, that they could have gone further than they did, and I think some justice wanted to tackle the free speech issue, but the decision was more narrow, just on freedom of conscience, and that's an important sort of point to just make again, because people, I think, are confused about why we're back here sort of arguing the same things.
Right. Well, and that's right. I mean, challenging unjust laws is a hallmark of civil rights litigation. No one should have to watch their freedoms disappear or face crippling fines before asking the court to help and to intervene. And so Lorie made that courageous decision back in 2016. This was before Jack's case had even reached the U.S. Supreme Court at the time, because she saw this pattern in practice being demonstrated by Colorado of going after people based on their beliefs, and she didn't want to wait to have to endure what Jack's had to endure. So certainly a lot is at stake, not only for Lorie but for everyone across this country, in terms of being able to continue to have that freedom to dialogue and to discuss and to think and to create consistent with the core of who we are. And you mentioned the atheist earlier. This is so true for anyone, whether you're the Democrat speechwriter who doesn't want to write for a Republican, party, whether you're the pro-abortion photographer who doesn't want to celebrate a pro-life rally. I mean, we all have such different and diverse beliefs in this country. That's what makes our country so unique, and that's why we have the First Amendment, to protect that freedom of speech.
Well, we just had an incident in Virginia, sort of a Sarah Huckabee redux. The Family Foundation, which promotes the respect for life and traditional marriage, was denied service at a restaurant in Richmond. They were going to have an event there. The people at this restaurant in Richmond found out what the Family Foundation stands for, and they said, well, we don't agree with you, so we're not going to accept your reservation for this event you want to do. Well, okay, that's perfectly fine.
Right. I mean, ultimately, at stake in Lorie's case, it really, the distinction here is really when it comes down to speech and what is speech. And in Lorie's case, Colorado even agreed that every website she creates is custom, it's unique, and expresses a unique message. They conceded it's pure speech. They also conceded that she served everyone, including those who identify as LGBT, and yet they still claim the power to censor her speech. And that is what should really terrify all of us, that we could see a government having that kind of power. I mean, that's why even the 10th Circuit dissent said this is unprecedented. This is an existential threat to freedom, to compel someone's speech like that. And so when the government steps in and tries to start telling us what to think and what to say, that's truly a scary moment, and one where we must not allow that.
And Lorie, I'm sure you've had a lot of support from friends and family, but have you had any threats against you?
Of course I have. Yeah, over the last 6 years, and certainly within the last couple months, especially as we've headed to the court, I've experienced death threats and threats of bodily harm. My home security has been questioned. I have a security system on my home. I've had to put my child's school on alert. My clients have been harassed. People are continually trying to hack into my website. What's hard for me is that I see these things. I'm the recipient of some of these things, and what I'm standing to protects everyone's right to speak consistent with who they are, whether your views are the same on marriage or different. Nobody should be forced to express messages that go against what they believe. And so I'm hopeful that the country sees and understands that a win for me in this case truly protects each and every one of us.
Well, some of those purported purveyors of love and tolerance, that is not their view, unfortunately. They don't want to live in a free society. They don't understand how it can boomerang on them if they attempt to impose their views on others. That's the rub here, isn't it? Lorie Smith and Kellie Fiedorek. Lorie is the graphic artist and website designer. 303 Creative, that's before the High Court in this case we're talking about. And Kellie, senior counsel with Alliance for Defending Freedom, and they are defending Lorie Smith's freedom and all of ours. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Good luck at the High Court.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And they both joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The bigger your 401k, the better your retirement, right? Wrong. The fact is, with proposed new taxes, another market crash, inflation, and rising healthcare costs, you could be forced to downsize your retirement. Discover the secret savvy investors are turning to for retirement security. A new 401k law